Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing good. And so today I'm going to tell you a question that just came in Walmart Dare2complete challenge. Okay, they are hiring for women's as for SD role, software development engineer role, and the salary was between 20 lakh per annum to 25 lakh per annum. The question was, you are given a string s of length n. So they are given a string s string s string, okay, whose length is n length. This particular string consists of lower English letter. Okay, it contains English letter in lowercase, not any letter is in uppercase or any other digits not included in that particular string. An operation is defined as following, done in order. So they have given some operation. That operation should be done in the given order that they have already given or asked us. Okay. Pick any I such that 1 less than equals to I less than equals to n minus 2. So they are talking about I for any index. Here I represent index of the particular character in the string. Okay, so I should vary from 1 to n minus 2. This is a very important point because both these instructions should be taken consider, and then only we can able to solve the question. Okay, now such that s of I is equals to I plus 1. So they are asking, check s of I is equals to s of I plus 1. Okay, and they also given that, and the second condition in this is s of I plus 1 is not equals to s of I plus 2. Okay, the this is the first condition, and the second condition is s of I plus 2 is equals to s of I. Okay, so we have to take both these conditions and we should apply the conditions on our program to find the output. Okay, they have also given us the constraint. Let me first discuss about constraint, because constraint is very important to solve a question, because if we don't take consider constraints, then it might possible you will get some error in your code and it will never completely get to your answer, or you will get a complete points, or you will get your whole points in the programming. Because when we pass many test cases, there might chances that if you don't take constraint in consider, then those test cases may fail. Okay, so here they are asking that n should vary from 3 to 2 into 10 to the power 5. Okay, so let me tell you in 1 second. Okay, if we approximately do operations, then we can do 10 to the power 8 operations. Okay? 10 to the power 8 approx. This is approx. You should always remember, in 1 second 10 to the power 8 operations here. But here they are asking that n should be maximum as 2 into 10 to the power 5. Okay, so n should be 10 to the power 5. Okay, so if n is 2 into 10 to the power 5, then it is less than 10 to the power 8. Okay, so from this we can say that the solution can be the solution can be of order n. Okay, because n is order of 2 into 10 to the power 5, that is less than 10 to the power 8. Okay, but if we try to find solution of order of n square, then it is not possible, because it exceeds the time of 10 into 10 to the power 8. 10 to the power 8, that is, if we take n square 2 into 10 to the power 5 whole square, and that is 4 into 10 to the power 10, and that is greater than 10 to the power 8. So we cannot to solution cannot find our solution in order of n square time complexity. We should find the solution in order of n time complexity. Okay, so if you understand the constraint, that will help you to gain marks in the programs. And sometimes people don't consider these constraints and they don't get full marks in paper. Okay, now let me tell you about the question. So they have given that a particular string s is input, output, print the maximum number of times you can apply the operations on s. So we have to apply this particular operation on s. Okay, we have to apply this particular operation on s, and we need to find how many times we can apply the operation and print that number of times. Okay, for example, they have given a sample test case, that is test case input accept and the sample output 3. Okay, let me take the sample test case, and that is accept a c c e p t. Okay, if we take this string into consideration, then we can easily say that I started from 1 and goes till n minus 2. If the length of the string is 6, then n minus 2 is 4. It goes till 4. Okay, so here we have to stop at this point and we have to find the count. Okay, now let us find the count. So they are asking, check whether s of I is equals to s of I plus 1. So here s of I is equals to c and s of I plus 1 is equals to c and s of I plus 2 is equals to e. So both of these are equal, but these are not equal. Okay, so these are not equal, so we can say that our first condition satisfied. Okay, when we jump to the second condition and see whether this condition satisfied or not. So s of I plus 2 is equals to s of I. So we have to put s of I plus 2 is equals to s of I, and that when we put this becomes c, and that is this particular becomes c. Now I is pointing to this point, and now I becomes this. So our count, as we already done both of these operations, becomes 1 because one time we already done this operation. Now when we do it in second times, then s of I is again c, s of I plus 1 is again c, and s of I plus 2 is equals to p. So here also we can say that both these are equal, s of I and s of I plus 1, and s of I plus s of I plus 2 are not equal. So we can say here first condition satisfied, then we put s of I plus 1, and that is p is equals to c. Okay, so if we put here c, now I already becomes 2. Now the second operation already completed. Now count becomes 2 and we increment again I, and I comes to at the end, that is n minus 2. And when I points to n minus 2 length, then s of I is equals to c, s of I plus 1 is equals to c, and s of I plus 2 is equals to t. Okay, so when this will happen, then also our first condition satisfied, then we should go for the second condition and we should make that t value as c and increment the count as 3. Okay, so here and then it again increments and we check for I is greater than n minus 2, and so our loop stops and the count value becomes 3, and we print the count value. Here you can see that the value is 3. Now let us see how can we program it. Okay, now let us see how can we program it. So we have to take a string into consideration. Okay, string s, and we need to take string from the user. If user inputs the string, then we need to find the length of the string. Okay, because for a loop to run from to till n minus 2, we need a loop. But before that, we need to find a variable. We need to make a variable that is in a loop and that runs till n minus 2. Okay, so if we make it as long double because of our constraint, and that is n should be as maximum as 2 into 10 to the power 8. So if someone enters a string that's length is 2 into 10 to the power 8, 10 to the power 5, so for that we should have a long double to take that value into consideration. Okay, so I and count is equals to 0 if we make that particular value so long. And now we have to check one condition, and that is if s of length, that is length function, we have to check whether the value that enters, the string that enters length should be greater than 2 or not. Okay, so for I is equals to 0 to I is less than s dot length, we have to go till s of length minus 2 times. Okay, but here we don't have to take to 1, we have to take 1. I is equals to start with 1 because they have already given that I should vary from 1 to n minus 2. Okay, then I plus plus. Now the thing started. We have to check a condition. If s of I double is equals to s of I plus 1 and s of I plus 1 not equals to s of I plus 2, then what we have to do, then we have to make s of I plus 2 as s of I. Okay, and we have to increment our count because we need to print the value of count. Okay, at the end when this will end, then there is a else condition we need to follow, and in else condition we don't have to find the else condition, we just need to see out count. Okay, and this is the whole program that we are asking. Now let me run this program. So the compile runs. Oh, okay, see out, I have just written as count, and now I think this will run. Okay, let me enter the string as accept, and the output we get as 3. Okay, so this is the particular program. Let me take another string like a b c d, and let us see whether it runs or not. So here it shows 0, and this is how the program works, and this is how you take the value, because there are constraints and you should always take constraint into consideration, because in competitive programming they check your depth and knowledge in a particular algorithm or programming or the logic you build. Okay, so thank you for watching the video. If you find the content relevant, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button.